Greetings and welcome. My name is Mike Huggins from the Transformation Yoga Project, and I truly appreciate you joining us this morning for a 30-minute yoga practice followed by a meditation, a short meditation. There's so much going on right now, right? We don't have all the answers, but what we can do is come together as a community. For me personally, being kind of shut away from everybody and not really used to using social media this way, it can be a time of anxiety. And for me, it's both a mental and a physical one. And so this yoga practice can be so powerful in just connecting our mind and our body. And we do that mainly through the breath. So this practice is a 30-minute chair yoga practice. And I recognize that some of you may not have a chair with you. And you certainly can do every one of these poses while standing. In fact, I'll cue a few standing, but for the most part, we'll do this practice in a seated position. So let's get to it. So let's come to a comfortable seated position. And if you like to stand, you can come into a mountain pose, a simple mountain pose. So for me, it's rooting my feet into the mat and just letting my toes kind of lay onto the mat so I can feel them, maybe spreading all my toes so I can feel the floor underneath, or even if you're wearing shoes or socks, you still can relax those toes down. Sitting up as tall as best we can, and we know there's different chairs and the rounding, but we just try to lengthen that spine as best we can to create a little bit of space for us. Eyes can be open or closed, and we'll start simply with a connection to our breath. And if it's available to you, through the nose as you breathe in, through the nose as you breathe out. Do that a few times, and without any type of forcing the breath, just awareness of the breath. And as we connect with the breath, we start to realize that the breathing falls into its own natural rhythm. And we notice that the body follows along with that natural rhythm. As we breathing in, we feel our lungs expand and pushing through our chest and ribs and starting to rise up. And as we exhale, it all goes back down. And I love this concept because it's the idea of leading with the breath, not leading with our mind or leading with our body. It's leading with the breath. As we breathe in, the body starts to move. As we breathe out, the body starts to return. So our practice this morning will just continue to focus on the breathing while we add some physical poses to perhaps challenge us or confuse our breathing so we can always come back to steady state when we find ourselves wandering. Let's start by tucking our chin. As we breathe in, lifting our chin up, loosening of the neck. Just do that on your own rhythmic breathing. Your breathing might be a little slower than mine or a little faster than mine. Take the cue from your breathing, not from me. And if you like, you can start to move side to side, turning your neck to one way, very slowly to the other. Notice if the eyes are open or closed. Of course, there's no right or wrong, it's just the awareness. We'll do one more on each side. And come back to center. Take a breath in and a full breath out. Let it all go. Start to move our shoulders up just a bit, almost as if we're kind of just giving a shrug here. And drop it all down. Once again, breath in, lifting our shoulders, and release out. You could do a few more of those on our own, or if you'd like, you can kind of circle your back towards each other as I make a few crackling sounds. Don't even know if you can hear them on the video, but they're there. And then when you're ready, you can go the opposite way. So the idea of adding movement here is to then connect back with the breath. We get so focused on our movement that we forget the inward and outward breath. Let's come back to center. Always come back to home base, which is our breathing. You can add a few cat-cows here if you like. Inhaling, kind of rounding your spine, lifting up those shoulder blades. Exhale, chest comes forward, maybe the shoulder blades come back, squeezing together, and head lifts just a bit without arching that neck. And exhale, go the opposite way. Breathing in, opening up your heart, your chest area. Breathing out, rounding your spine. And then one more. Inhaling, lift. Exhaling, release. Another breath in. So I like that already. I don't know about you, but it just feels like I feel like the blood's flowing a little bit more. And that's all I'm asking for this morning. Let's add a little bit of arm movement here if you're up for that. Inhaling, arms reach up high over your head. And I'm going to lift mine till I feel a natural resistance. I'm not going to force it. I've got some shoulder issues, so I'm not going to bring my all like that. It's not serving me right now. So I'm going to lift up. I can still get the length of my arm, the length of my spine, connect with my breathing, feet rooted to the mat. Connecting, releasing, inhaling, lift a little bit higher if that's for you, and then exhale. I'm going to release one arm, in this case my right arm. Left arm is going to go up and out. Inhale, reaching, and if it's there for you today, you can kind of reach over and get a nice stretch of your ribs. I'd like to tuck my chin here because it just takes any stress or strain off my neck. Notice that as we twist, our breathing can become a little bit confined, but we're breathing as best we can. Focused on breathing in, on breathing out. And we'll do that one more time. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, bring both arms back up. Notice that sensation in the lifted arm before, breath in, and we'll switch it right out. That opposite arm is going to come down. In this case, my right arm reaches up high. And if your shoulder's okay, over your head, slight tuck of your chin. It's almost like a yin and yang kind of a thing here. My upper arm reaching with each breath in, feeling some length. As I exhale, I'm sort of releasing, but that lower arm is nice and soft. Meanwhile, a great opportunity to connect with our breathing. At the end of the day, that's really where it's all about. One more breath here, in and out. Inhale, bring both arms up high. And exhale, if you'd like to, you can bring your hands to heart center, thumb knuckles maybe onto your sternum area, dropping your shoulders just so you're relaxed here. I like to wiggle my toes just to kind of remind myself to round or root into the floor. Eyes can be open or closed. Again, no right or wrong. If your eyes are open, just a slight gaze. I'll be walking you through all this, so you certainly can watch me or you can follow my voice. Take a moment, if you're able, to find a sense of gratitude for anything that's happening. So much for us to be grateful, even when there's confusion all around us. Perhaps there's one word that comes to mind that could be your key word to remind yourself. Find a way to be grateful. One more breath in, and we'll release it down, arms down by our side. Inhale, reach your arms up high. exhale. Inhale, I'm consciously lengthening my spine. Exhale, a spinal twist. In this case, my right arm is going to go to my left knee, pushing through my spine as I lift, and as I exhale, I start to twist best as I can without forcing anything. Coming back to the natural rhythm of our breath. Inhale, gaining a little bit of length. Exhale, trying to release or back off just a bit. Body knows where you can go today. Let the breath be the pathway. One more breath here. Inhale, let's come back to center. Both arms come up. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, let's reach up. And the opposite arm to your opposite knee. In this case, my left arm to my right knee, and my right arm is going to reach behind my back. Inhale, pushing through my spine, getting some length here. Exhale, trying to release as I twist. Maybe we can start to notice any tension or holding in our body here. Maybe a shortness of breath is feeling a little strain in your sternum area. Each exhale, trying to relax or send energy to that area. Inhale, let's come all the way back up high. Exhale, hands to heart center. Breath in, release your hands. Breath out. So we're going to move to a modified sun salutation, starting with forward folds. If you wanted to stand, it's very simple, reaching up and forward folds, okay? Otherwise, we'll do it seated down. Seated down. Inhale, reach up high over your head. Inhale, lengthening that spine. Exhale, kind of a swan dive forward. Your hands can touch the floor, not touch the floor, tucking your chin just a bit. And then we'll take a few breaths here. Noticing the back round. Notice if your eyes are open or closed. Next breath in, I'm going to place my hands onto my shins, sort of a halfway lift, if you will. Stay here for a few moments. As I breathe in, I consciously kind of squeeze my shoulder blades together, noticing it pervades a little space in my spine. Slight tuck of my chin so I protect my cervical area, and then reconnect with my breath if I lost that rhythm. Breath in and breath out. Add some movement here. Inhaling, exhaling back to that forward fold. Inhaling to that flattened back or lengthened spine. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling slowly, we're going to rise all the way up to your degree. Arms reaching up. Noticing any tension in your shoulder area. Breathing to find space. One more breath in. And exhale, we'll swan dive again. And we'll just try to move with a little more breathing here and pace. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling to a lengthened spine, hands onto shins. Another breath here. Inhaling, perhaps squeezing your shoulder blades. Exhaling, forward fold. Breath in and out. Inhaling, slowly tuck your chin, rounding your spine, reaching all the way up high. We'll do one more. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, find some length if it's in you. Exhale, forward fold. Hands down, chin tucked. Inhale to that lengthened spine. One more breath here. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, let's reach all the way up. Last time, arms reaching high over your head. One more breath in. Exhale, hands to heart center. Eyes open or closed. Another connection back with our practice. your eyes are closed, you can open up your eyes, hands come down onto your knees. Again, if you're standing, all this can be done in a standing position. We're now going to transition into a warrior seated warrior, but if you're standing, you know that's easy to do on our mats. Inhale, let's reach all the way up high. And exhale, open up to warrior two. So I'm taking my arms out wide and I start to take, in this case, my left knee is going to come out and my right leg is going to come back as I start to reach. So this might be fine for where you are, or you might feel like a little tension here. So maybe if you're on your chair, you can scoot a little bit forward, and it allows that, in this case, my right hip can come down further and I can extend my arms. That's it. That's basically it. Now, if you want to get real technical, we can start to think about our hips maybe facing towards the screen a little bit more, arms extending. But this is really it. Let's come in with our breathing here. Trying to find equal length in that front arm and that back arm. Notice any tension rising in those shoulders. Just take one breath in here. And I'm going to drop my shoulders down. That feels awesome. Release. I'll come right back at it. So feel free to adjust, back off the pose if you're feeling it's building that tension. I'm going to add on to here. So as I breathe in, I'm going to move to a seated crescent lunge. So you can see my back heel's going to come, my legs facing forward, arms reaching up high, kind of like goalpost arms here. Inhale and lengthening my spine. I'm going to add a simple twist here. As I exhale, my right arm is the opposite from my bent knee in the front, comes forward, my back arm comes down. Now that may be difficult for the chair you're on, maybe you just drape your arm back, whatever. The key right here, if you can, is focus back on your breathing. See if you can let the breath lead the way. Don't feel you have to force yourself into any kind of twist. The breath knows where the body wants to go. Take one more breath here. And breath in, arms come up high. And I'm going to shift back again to that warrior two. So arms going to come long. I'm going to shift this leg back just a bit, shift my hips just a bit, and come back here. And I'm going to make a subtle shift in the pose here by simply pushing through our palms. Our fingers reach upward, and notice that shifts everything, shifts a lot of discomfort from our shoulders to our forearms. We won't stay here long. Take a breath. We can calm ourselves down. Back off if you need to. Inhale, that top arm is going to come, the back arm, is going to come forward. Feeling some now tension in my shoulders. Perhaps feeling a sense of energy in both palms. One palm I'm going to push away, the other I'm going to kind of receive some energy here. It's almost like you can feel energy on both palms here. Perhaps a little bit of resistance as you come back. Take a breath in. Then exhale. I'm going to move that energy. Just, what a release in my shoulders. Connecting with the breath. Inhale, let's come up. And behind to the best you can with the chair you're working with or standing. Inhale, let's come up. And let's come back to that warrior two. Connect with that breath. A little bit forced breathing right now. I'm going to come back to a natural state here, consistency, and right to extended side angle. So my front arm is going to come onto my knee, my top arm back, it comes forward. Finding a sense of lengthening here, maybe tucking your chin. You're welcome to take that top arm behind your back. It's simply a nice way to open up your chest. That's all we're doing here. So if that's not there for you or the chairs is prohibiting you from doing it, don't worry about it. Stay connected with your breathing. And if the mind starts to wander, your body starts to think about, what's happening, kind of stay with the breathing and then make a decision of what your body and mind want to do. Inhale, let's come back to that warrior two. And breath in, I'm going to come back to center. Arms come over the head. Inhale, lengthening of my spine, perhaps my arm just a bit. Exhale, hands to heart center, thumb knuckles onto my sternum, shoulders relax, toes relax. Full breath in. I'm so appreciative of those you who have joined us, because it's just a challenge for all of us to find a sense of community. So I'm so happy and grateful for those who have tuned in. So let's move to the opposite side. Inhale, reaching up high. Exhale, whatever side it was, just go to the opposite side. We'll go to warrior two. Make those subtle adjustments. Maybe that you come to the edge of your chair, connect with the breathing, check in with your shoulders, check in with how you're feeling mentally. This is not about stress. It's about breathing and making wise decisions. I'm going to transition into that crescent lunge if you'd like to. So I'm just going to start to spin my hip forward and my arms come over my head. Inhale, feel lengthening of the spine here, and exhale, the opposite of my bent knee in front comes forward and the back arm twists. Stay connected here. We know there's some discomfort here. This is where I love to say, this is where the practice of yoga is. Just make the right decision for where you are at this very moment. Inhales, come all the way back up, and exhale right back to that warrior two, just as you need to. I'm going to just play with my hips here just a little bit. Any tension in those shoulders, drop them a bit. Come out of the pose and come back out when you're ready. I'm going to shift the emphasis of the pose to my arms as I push through my palms, sending energy to both of my arms and my shoulders here as that back arm starts to come forward. Consciously sensing the energy in both palms. And you start to direct that energy. The outer arm starts to come back, the inner arm comes forward. Breath in, and you start to move that energy to the front. Inhale up, exhale behind. Inhale back up, exhale right back to where we started, warrior two. Stay, or we can move right to the extended side angle. That, in this case, my right forearm on my knee, top arm comes up and over, slight tuck of the chin. You can stay here, or you're welcome to move to this kind of semi-bind, just opening up that shoulder, the chest area. Last breath here. Inhale, pull ourselves up, back to center, and hands come to heart center. Full breath in. I don't know about you, but my body is actually thanking me right now. Being pent up here is kind of driving me a little crazy. So we're going to move to two balancing poses before we do work on a couple hip openers. So you're welcome. For those who are standing, we're going to do right to a airplane pose. So airplane is quite simply, those who've been practicing, is simply here and moving back. You can use your chair as a balance. So if you are so moved to stand, that's one option. For those of us who are going to stay seated, we can do the same thing. Inhale, kind of lift our spine up. Exhale, start to come forward. Are we lengthening our chest? Arms come down by our side. A slight tuck of our chin as we lift up our chest. If you're feeling like, well, I can go a little bit more, and I'm not saying you have to go more, you can think about lifting up one leg even. Or if you have a block, you can put a block under that leg. So chest starts to open, feeling some strength in your arms. Breathing consistently in through the nose and out through the nose. One more breath here. And as we inhale, let's all come up. If you're standing, you can come back down. And then we'll switch to the opposite side. So if you are standing, you can actually just move to the opposite side of your chair. Shift the weight to the inside leg. Inhale, lift up that right knee, the outer knee. And then exhale, we can come to any variation of airplane, hands on the chair, off the chair, sitting in a chair. Love to check in with the toes at this point to see if we're grasping that mat. Or any other place. Sometimes we grasp our jaw because that's when we're really digging in, and that's a nice area we can maybe think about softening. And slowly come all the way back up. Breath in. So we'll do one more. If you're standing and you've been practicing for a while, we're going to work on just a tree pose. So tree, there's many options. You can use your chair. We like to start as a kickstand or any variation as long as we avoid that knee joint. Hands can come here, here. Okay, so if you want to stand, that's one option for you. For those who are seated, and what I'm going to do a seated tree pose. So I'm going to come towards the end of my chair. My feet are kind of grounded into the floor. And I just start to take, in this case, my right leg is going to kind of, like you see, almost like a kickstand here. And that's really it. There's variations of this. So if you like, you can lift up that leg. You feel a little bit inside your thigh here. Or if you happen to have a block nearby, you can use your block and support your leg with a block as you move towards the kickstand. Come back to center, focusing on lengthening that spine, and then any hand variation works here also. So those who've been standing, you've probably been standing for a while now. So you can come back out of the pose. We can start to release our hands and release your foot. As always, let's move. Before we move, let's take a full breath in. Let that pose go. That's all it's all about. The deep breaths in are just to let go. Good, bad, or indifferent. We're moving forward. So now let's do tree on the opposite side. You can do the same on the opposite side of your chair, or let's come to a seated position and then move to any variation of tree. Again, I'm going to use my block. Come back to our breathing, and this is another place where if you had set an intention or a word or a sense of gratitude, might be a nice place to recall that word. And then slowly we can start to release our hands and then release our feet. If you're standing, please come back to your chair, or you can continue standing if you like. The next pose we can do standing if you'd really like to. Inhale, lift our shoulder blades up. Exhale. So we're going to do a simple leg lift here. So I'm going to start with seated position. I'm going to root in this case, my left leg in. I'm going to push through my heel of my right leg. And then I'm just going to lift it as much as it feels okay for me today. So I'm lifting, I'm feeling the hip here. I'm not leaning back like this. I'm sitting tall, and I'm lifting. Okay, there's where I think I need to stop. And then I'm going to focus on my breathing here to kind of get through the next few moments. We only stay here 5 breaths. So don't feel like you've got to go high. Your head's got to go, up to your shoulder. I mean, your foot has to go up to your shoulders. It's that connection of the breath, the tension you might be feeling in your lifted leg, and reconciling the decision to make about back off, go deeper, or stay right where you're at. One more breath in, and slowly release. Adjust if you need to, and we'll do the same on the opposite side. So stay here, go to where you think you can go today. So if you're lifted, it's quite simple. It's just, you probably can't see my head, but it's just simply lifting your leg up, and you can hold on to your chair for sure. But fight the urge to kind of go like this. That looks like, wow, it's going high, but I'm really not doing much. I want to work on my core work here, my hip, and it's a matter of staying tall. Just a few more breaths here. Inhaling and exhaling, release. I'm going to come back to reset myself. Full breath in. So we'll do one more pose before we start to transition into a seated rest. And that's a seated pigeon pose. So if you are standing, this is a tough one. You might want to come down to your mat, or you might want to join us in the chair. So for a seated pigeon, I'm going to sit up tall like I had tried have the whole practice. And my right leg is going to lift, and I'm whatever I can do, right? Maybe it's just like this, or maybe it's even like this. And that's it. Some of you might be able to cross it over, almost like a figure four, or for guys like reading a paper. That's cool too, okay? Whatever's working for you, but don't feel like, oh, I got to lift this up like this. This is absolutely fine. I'm going to come back up, pressing through my heel so I feel like I have like a lot of muscle connection here. I focus back, lifting my spine, and I'm just going to stay here for probably about 6 or 7 breaths. You can do that on your own. You might notice that my hand is on my bent knee. I just like to put a little bit of tension. I'm not forcing it down. It's just a little bit of tension so I can get a little more deeper stretch into my hip socket. This is where the breathing can be a challenge, but also a savior as our mind wants to wander a bit. Just a few more breaths here. And very slowly, we're going to come out of the pose. I'm just going to give my knee a nice little hug here. Straighten it out. And then a little bit of resistance, kind of slowly, I release it to the mat. Inhale, it's going to sit up tall if I lost any posture here. Exhale, releasing my shoulders. And then when we're ready, we'll just switch it out to the opposite side. And for me, and probably for most of us, the left side is totally different than the right side. So I can barely get my left knee down. And that's okay. I've been doing this for a long time now, and honestly, this is a huge improvement for me, but it's nowhere near where my right side is, and that's fine. That's just the way it is. Let's come back to that controlled breathing. Eyes can be open or closed here. Just notice if you go inward with your eyes closed, that sometimes the mind's going to wander. As we like to say, just a gentle nudge back without any kind of judgment. It happens to everybody. Just 3 more breaths here. And slowly we'll start to come out. I'm going to give this knee a nice little hug, a squeeze here, extend my leg, and then as I exhale, I slowly release it down. Come back to check in with my posture, spine, lengthen just a bit. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, let's bring our arms over our head. Exhale, palms come together, thumb knuckles onto our sternum. I invite you to close your eyes, but certainly you don't have to close your eyes. If you keep your eyes open, just move to a slight gaze. Take a few breaths here, recalling any intention, or just an overall sense of gratitude for our practice. Just showing up. Poses are secondary. The showing up is the important piece. And when you're ready, place your hands onto your knees. Come to a comfortable seated position. So if you have a back on your chair, you want to go to the back of your chair, absolutely fine. And if you're seated or laying down, you can move into a seated position. You can move into a Shavasana position, lying down. You can move onto your side. Anything that works for you. We'll move into a a short guided meditation, so you're absolutely welcome to keep your eyes closed. And as we finish the meditation, it'll be apparent. I will ring the chime one time. So you'll know when I ring that chime that we're starting to move towards the end of the practice. So hopefully you're now starting to get into a comfortable position. Hands could be wherever they are. I generally put my hands together, but that's just me. I like that connection. Some people like here. Some people like their finger, first two fingers together. Whatever's fine for you. Take a few breaths in. Sometimes I say this transition from the physical process of these moves that we call them asana to this idea of rest can be a challenging one because we've spent the last few minutes having our breath lead our movements. And now we're suggesting that you can release your breath and let your body recover naturally. So that's an important transition. It's one that we need to do in our everyday lives when we're under control, forcing things, and then when we can really truly release and when the body can start to rest. I thought we might do a short loving kindness meditation this morning, so you're welcome to follow along mentally, or if you're feeling you just want to close your eyes and perhaps sleep, then that's fine too. So if you do want to follow along, you can mentally repeat these phrases to yourself. Today, may I feel whole. Today, may I be happy. Today, may I experience inner and outer peace. Today, may I live life with ease. Perhaps shifting our awareness from ourselves to someone, a loved one, or someone who could certainly use a thought their way, encouragement. Even if it's not verbal to their face, we can send energy their way. Today, may you be whole. Today, may you be healthy. Today, may you experience inner and outer peace. Today, may you live life with ease. So if you feel like deepening your breath, or perhaps moving your fingers or your toes, you're welcome to do that. If you are enjoying the moment and want to stay where you are, absolutely can do that. Take a moment of gratitude once again for our practice, our ability to share as a community, even from afar. The connection is more difficult, but it's real and it's there. For that, I'm most grateful. If your eyes are closed, you can think about opening up your eyes. I wanted to finish with a poem. I received this poem in the mail from one of our students, and it just really affected me, and particularly in these times. I think it was sent to me before all this was going on, but it just seems to really resonate with me. It's a poem by Rumi. It's called The Guest House. This being human is a guest house. Every morning is a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house, empty of its furniture, still treat each guest honorably. He may be cleaning out you for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. I certainly can't add to that, so I want to thank you all again. I honor each and every one of you, and we're here for you, at least spiritually and mentally, for all you're going through. Namaste.